So when and how did you discover Star Wars?
I was 2 years old when the film came out, and so I don't remember seeing it for the first time, but I do remember getting a Betamax player that my parents bought and brought home, and our next door neighbour had a copy of Star Wars. I think they'd recorded it off the television, and went round and begged them for it and said, "Oh, we'll bring it back tonight." And I never ever brought it back. And I watched it every day before school for a few years, and so I must have seen it like 200 or more times or something.
I mean, there's obviously a huge amount of pressure in doing a Star Wars movie. How did you go about to not let that kind of cripple you in the work in this movie?
If you think about it too much, it is kind of paralyzing, and so you have to you end up cutting a cord and trying to create a little bubble around yourself, and you go, if you try and make a film for other people, like to please other people, you tend to make a bad movie. And so you've got to do it for yourself and trust, Luke Skywalker at the end of the original movie, he turns off his computer and he just trusts his instincts and does what he thinks is right. And as filmmakers, we had to do that. We had to kind of switch off the internet.
Kind of trust your instincts, I guess.
Yeah.
What was it like meeting George Lucas for the first time?
It was very... Actually, I had met him before. I didn't bring this up with him, but the very first film I did was this low-budget science fiction film, and it got nominated for an award in America, and I went. And in the green room, George was getting a Lifetime Achievement at the same thing, and he was passing by, and a friend of mine was like, "Go talk to him," and I was like, no, I'm too embarrassed. No, talk to him. So he went up and went, "Hi, George, and this is my friend. He's nominated in the category, and he wanted to say hello." And so I just said, this was ages ago, and I just said, "George, I did a science fiction film, and I got into filmmaking because of you, and so I just want to say thanks."
That was like meeting a god,
yeah.
I guess.
And that was before any of this happened, so I didn't know I was going to end up doing Star Wars back then.
Which one is your favorite Star Wars movie, and why?
A New Hope, because it's the first, so it was the biggest leap from nothing to Star Wars.
Yeah. So what do you think about the prequel trilogy?
I think they're really cool. I think George tried to push the boundaries and definitely push the technology. I obviously got inspired doing Star Wars, but I also got a chance to make a film because of George, in that he pushed digital cameras, like editing on computers, and doing computer graphics in 3D, and so I have to not only thank him for inspiring me, but also allowing our generation to make films without having millions of dollars. And so I think I've watched those original trilogies loads as inspiration for that kind of stuff.
Because I know that George Lucas always wanted to push the envelope for what was possible in the universe for Star Wars. Maybe also that he wasn't quite pleased with The Force Awakens in the way that it mirrored A New Hope. Did he ever talk to you about inventing new stuff and kind of pushing the boundaries for what Star Wars could be?
I just think if you look at his work, we didn't really have conversations beforehand. It was just, if you look at what George has always done, he's always gone out on a limb. Like the original Star Wars was a massive risk. It feels like, looking back, it feels crazy that anyone got nervous about it, but the studio back then were trying to pull the plug on it. And I think he went through hell making that film, and then it was the greatest hit of all time. And so it feels like if you're going to do anything in the spirit of Star Wars, you've got to go out on a limb and you've got to take a few risks. And we had a license to do that with this because it's a standalone movie. It meant we could be unique and not have to let it lead into other movies. We could just go for broke on this one.